Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Adulting in My Purpose. You know, I'm always excited to see you each and every week because we are talking about everything adulting. So for my first timers out there, welcome. I want to say welcome to you. Thank you for tuning in today. All my returning listeners out there, welcome. Hope all is well. You know what to do. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and let others know what we're doing with the Adulting in My Purpose movement. So for my first timers just watching, I always like to introduce myself so you can get to know me a little bit. I am Dr. Nicole Rankin, better known as Dr. Nick. I am a certified personal growth coach, and really my vision is to help young leaders just like yourself, young leaders really discover who they are, clarify their vision of life, and then create a plan to take their next steps and move to do the things that they have been designed and destined to do. Because we know this whole adulting thing is hard. Y'all see those gas prices? What y'all gonna do? You know, so this whole adulting thing is hard, it's frustrated, but you know what I found that, people are stronger together. So you don't have to do things by yourself. And I know being an adult, transitioning into adult, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of self-inflicted pressure. And so I want to bring young people together so we can do this adulting thing together. You can get equipped, you can get tools, you can get strategies, you can bounce ideas off of each other and just build a network and a community of people who are truly living in and on purpose. That's what adulting in My Purpose is all about. So if you are out there, you are a young adult in your 20s or in your 30s, make sure you join our Facebook group, join the community, stay informed of all our events and activities that we have going on throughout the year, and just really lean in because we have some amazing young people that's truly wanting to live in and on purpose and wanting to do it together. So that's all the administrative stuff. Let's get into the goods. So, I bring in, not only do we have millennials making moves, and I love those times where I get to speak to millennials who are doing some great things in their community and really in the world, just impacting others and helping others and really living their purpose. But I also, we like to do the session called Ask the Expert. And that's where I bring in experts for all different industries, all different perspectives of adulting. So give you some insight into some things that you may want to do and they can provide some strategies and tools for you to help you in your adulting process. So today I'm so excited to bring to the adulting platform Attorney Kimberly Cain. And I'm going to bring her up and then give you a little bit about her. Welcome to the show, Kimberly. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well today. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming and sharing. So, guys, let me let you know a little bit about Attorney Kimberly, and we're going to be great to hear her story and actually how she got to where she is right now. So, Attorney Kimberly is an estate planning practice which focuses on helping families enhance their lives today and secure their future. She excels in guiding her clients through often confusing maze of financial and legal decisions to create plans that ensure the well-being of their families and the accomplishments of their cherished family goals, right? So she knows how difficult it may be to engage in the process of end-of-life planning. So she specializes in and is dedicated to providing families and individuals with individualized service based on their specific and unique needs. So she works with you from every step of the way to make sure that you understand your choices and you're making yourself really empowered to make them. So I'm excited because I want to hear, I know some of you out there are in the professional realm or just thinking about that professional life. So I'm excited to have Kimberly here on the platform to share her story. So let's get started. And Kimberly, just kind of share your story and how you got to where you are today.
Wow. How I got to where I am today. So as you mentioned, yes, I do have my own practice. I do other work as well while I'm building that practice. So there is a level of compromise that I'm doing with my life to try to build my practice. So I knew I wanted to be a lawyer since I was a child. When my father would say to me that I could argue a signboard down. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I guess I should be a lawyer. And he always spoke highly of his family members who were lawyers, back in the day as well, because they were always, most of the time they were involved in civil rights issues back in the 50s and 60s. So it was definitely inspirational. And when I got into high school, though, I realized that I had more of a intuitive ability with math and numbers. So I always did well in my algebra classes, calculus in college, even chemistry. Chemistry is a level of math. So so I was able to sort of shift in the sense that, okay, I know this is something that I'm good at. I still want to be a lawyer. And so what's the best way to combine that? I was very focused in college. I set my goal to go to law school, and that's exactly what I did. And then when I went into law school, I realized that one of the areas that could sort of combine my intuitive sense of numbers and math with the law, which is estate planning. A lot of times you're dealing with tax issues from a planning perspective, for example. A lot of times you're offering clients advice on other things that are related to estate planning, to include, okay, I can recognize that maybe you need to do some investment planning. Maybe you need to do some tax planning. So here's an accountant that you need to talk with because of what I can see there. So it was a good combination. So when I graduated, though, I realized that the traditional practice of estate planning left a lot to be desired. So I kind of went a lot of different ways in my career, and I accepted that. I accepted the fact that, sometimes things don't go exactly the way that you want them. Sometimes the road, goes like this, and then you end up coming back to what it is that you really wanted to do. Yeah. So I recently discovered my current mentor, who approaches estate planning in a way that I've been thinking estate planning should be implemented a long time ago. And so working with her, I was able to start my firm just last year. I mean, I graduated law school 20 years ago. Yeah. So it's been a long, windy road to get to this point, to practice the way that I want to, practice. So that's kind of the short story of my career and how I got here. But I tried a lot of things. I mean, and a lot of those things failed. And you kind of have to look at those failed circumstances as learning opportunities. I know that sounds cliche, but that really is the case. I mean, it hurts, initially, right? I've invested in franchises that didn't work. I've lost money from that. Practicing in areas that really didn't fulfill me, but I learned skills from those experiences, as well as it helped me solidify what it is I do want as well. So all of those experiences were valuable, and that's what has gotten me to this point right now.
I love the story, and I love your journey. I had to grab a pen and paper because I'm taking some notes, because there's some things that I want to unpack, because you talked about a lot of powerful things. And I know that a lot of young people in their young adult, in that transition, trying to figure out what it is that they want to do. And some of them, yes, want to go in a professional industry. And the first thing that you mentioned that I want you to kind of talk about more, and kind of what your process was, because you said that you kind of uncovered some things about yourself, that you were like the math, but you still wanted to do law. And then you were finding out that you were liking a lot of things, but then you came to kind of that conversion, though, where all of those things met, and found a way that you can kind of put these all together. And then I know with a lot of young people, they like, well, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, and not really kind of understanding how does that process work, where you find something that kind of fits all of that. So can you just kind of explain that process?
You know what? I'm going to tell you. I'm trying to remember. I just can't believe how long ago it's been. So I'm trying to. Man, it's been long. I believe it was in college, and I can't even remember who the person was. I want to say it was another student that I was, that was attending. They may have been a master's student at the time. I was an undergrad. And she told me the story of a friend of hers who had just, when she was a child, she wanted to be an accountant. Like, she wanted to be an accountant really, really, really bad, right? But she didn't do well in math and accounting classes. But she was so focused on this, this particular dream, this very specific dream of hers, right? That she was unable to adjust. She was unable to be flexible or accept the fact that maybe this is not for me. And so I think that lesson really stuck with me, because I'm trying to remember. I feel like, she was just sort of stuck in that purgatory for a long time, and just really couldn't move forward from that, whether it was, okay, is there something I can do to increase my abilities, or do I need to do something else? And that is the lesson that, one of the lessons anyway, that really stuck with me. So I decided that, as a young person, as much as I could back then, because as you get older, your ideals of what is important shift, and it sort of changes. And with your maturity, you're able to let certain things go a little bit easier, right? But I still, even at that age, I was like, oh, wow, I'm not going to be that person, because I don't want to waste, or quote unquote, waste that time, right? So that's why I said to myself, I have this innate ability. How can I use it? I still realized that I had a desire to work in the law, and I did well in law school. So it just sort of fell into place because I was open to it. I think that's the key. The key is being open to, what actually happens. And you have a plan in place. You pursue your plan, certainly, but understand that there's that there are unforeseen variables, circumstances that can occur. And so you kind of have to learn how to, in a smart and efficient way, accept those things and fit it in with your life. So I would say that.
Yeah. You brought up, I mean, you're saying so much great things, because, as you're talking, and, I mentor a lot of young people, and I hear their struggle because, they may have this desire or this dream or this thought of this path that they want to go down. And when things don't go in alignment with that path, then they automatically kind of internalize it as, I'm a failure. It's something that's that self-awareness and that limiting doubt comes in, and that pressure comes in. And as you're saying that's okay. Just be open, because it may take a different route. It may take you going a different way to get there, but that's okay. So I love the fact that you shared your journey about that, because there's so many young people out there that struggle, and they put that stress on there, and their anxiety, and they get in depression, and we see a lot of that all the time. And so you talked about being open, but another thing that you mentioned was that, you know, you were open to fail. And so kind of talk about your, you know, as a young person and you're trying things out. You mentioned that you tried a lot of things. Like what kind of characteristics or things that you had to do for yourself to be able to fail and keep pushing on to get to those goals?
Well, I'm going to be honest, right? So that didn't come automatically, meaning that didn't come when I was in my 20s, unfortunately, right? So, but we want the generations behind us, right, to be able to get the lessons that were hard learned by our generation, because they're gonna have plenty of things that they can learn and then pass on to generations behind them, right? So one of the things is I have a nephew who's in his 20s, and he and I have very similar personalities. And I really see it in him, right? And so he has that level of anxiety about certain things that I had as well in my 20s. And so I try to share with him what I learned in my 30s, right? So hopefully he doesn't have to go through that process to get that particular lesson. And so, I think what's important though, right? I think the important part of accepting failure is also accepting and dealing with your disappointment in it. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you need to be out here super women and super men. It hurts. And I think that that's a problem with folks feeling like they can't experience the disappointment. They can't experience that failure and what it means for them and actually work through it. So understand that it is normal for you to feel that way. Accept that, be in your feelings for a while about it, process it, but then realize that that it's not the end of the world. And then there are other things that you can do, and it may have opened a door that you didn't even realize was there, right? And a new path that brings along so many new lessons, so many new, such satisfaction that you didn't even know you needed, right? So that was the process. It's just, and that's what I had to learn the hard way. One of the failures that I had was when because I also had this feeling of entrepreneurship, but I always, said to myself, I'm not a good entrepreneur, because of X, Y, and Z reason. And so, but I just wanted to conquer that. Right. So I opened a franchise. So I opened a franchise, I quit my job, and that just wasn't the right decision. And so I had my moments, I went through my period of disappointment, anxiety about the decision, and I came out better. And then what I said to myself was, you know what, maybe entrepreneurship isn't for me. And you know what, that's okay. But if the opportunity presents itself, I know that, hey, I can't quit my job initially. Before
that's the lesson learned.
that's that concrete lesson, right? That I learned, until the business gets up and running. I can't, I can't handle a business where I have to manage or hire a number of people right off the bat. It has to be organic. It has to be something that flows organic for me in order for me to consider this again. So once again, that there's that lesson, right? I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I tried it, but I accepted the fact that, hey, you know what, maybe this just isn't in the cards for me. And I am totally fine with that. The world needs diversity, and everybody can't be a business owner. So that's kind of just how I look at it. So, and then, and then once I accepted that, And, there are folks in my family, shortly after, I closed the store, and I'm like, oh, will you ever consider opening a business again? Nope. No way. I'm not doing it. I had PTSD for a while. But here I am, right? Here I am. I'm taking the lessons that I learned, and this was more than 10. This was probably, what is it, 2022? This was probably 10 years ago. And I'm just now getting back into it because it is flowing organically. I am in a situation where I can do both. I have a job that I do that provides the stability that I need, right? But at the same time, I can work my business, build my practice at a rate that's comfortable for me. And so kind of that's kind of how I got here.
Awesome. I love it. When you talk about just the openness of finding your way. And that's so important to just kind of reinforce with young people that it's okay to explore. Like, you never know, as a young person, you're like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And life doesn't happen like that. Life is not happening like that. And we have to be open. We have to be available to be flexible. You said, create a plan, but be flexible with the plan. And be okay to be present, feel how you feel when things don't go right. But then also, get there and get the help and keep moving forward. And I love the fact that how you embody that. So let's kind of think about, there is, no one say there's a lot of strain within the workforce now, because we know that statistically they say in 2023 to 2025, millennials are going to be the majority of the workforce out there in different industries. So what are some of the biggest trends that you're seeing in your industry or just in the professional realm as it relates to millennials in the professional world?
I think I can't really say specifically as it relates to the law practice. But what I can say that I have noticed is that I think millennials are unapologetic and they are very progressive in their ideals and not feeling boxed in by tradition. So, you have a lot of millennials who are saying, you know what, I'm not going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a 4-year college or university. I'm going to go to a trade school. I'm not going to take out loans. I'm going to do it this way. And like I said, if you have a plan that you are actively pursuing, then I don't see anything wrong with that, right? We're not just talking about sort of flitting around and just, not doing anything, but you have a plan in place and it doesn't necessarily look like the tradition. So I think that's a good thing. I think that's something that we wish we had as Generation Xers in the way that they do, right? Because we often would put ourselves in those boxes. Our parents told us we need to get our good job with our good benefits and be happy with that.
That's it.
No, yeah. Millennials are saying, you know what? No, I like partying. So I'm going to turn that into a money earning situation. And that's what they do. That's what they do with social media and that whole thing. Like, I mean, they have mastered that. And they're able to work from their apartments and homes. And, they are earning money. They're being smart about it, and they're earning their money through that sort of medium. So I think that's a good thing. And I think that that's something that all of us can learn from and maybe integrate in our lives.
And that brings me to my next question, because, a lot of times when I do professional development with educational leaders. And so I hear the frustrations and I hear the tension that they have with this literally with a whole entire generation, that we've all heard the stereotypes. Millennials are lazy. They're entitled. They're this. They're that. And so, even with my teaching and my workshops, showing them how to be open. What would you say to an Xer and a baby boomer, even a traditionalist, in how to kind of bridge these generation gaps so we can learn and grow with each other?
To me, it's simple. I think about when I was a teenager, and we were fighting our parents. Remember, we were fighting our parents. And they were saying to us, oh my God, this new generation and what you're doing is just, So I remember how I felt. And it's like, no, I'm not just out here. I'm not out here just being frivolous with what I'm saying. There's meaning behind what I'm doing. There's meaning behind my idea of what life should be for me. And I think we have to, we have to take a step back, because I'm not going to, I'm not perfect. Of course, I've been one of the folks to say, oh my God, these entitled millennials. Like, we worked hard and we did this and we did that and we had to go through this. And, in some ways, tradition is beneficial, right? In some ways. But you have to take a step back and say, wait, let me just listen. Or, hey, maybe I'm just jealous. Maybe I'm jealous because I didn't have the guts to do what I really wanted to do, because I was listening to the generation behind me, right? On some things. So it's the jealousy, it's the ego that sometimes we have to set aside. And what gets to me to that point is thinking about when I was 20, when I was 25, and what my parents were saying to me and how it made me feel. So I just, so then I just, oh, okay, let me pump the brakes here. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I guess a lot of times we have selective amnesia.
Exactly.
We have selective amnesia. Yeah. A lot of times when I'm talking to young people, they were like, all y'all got to do is listen. Just listen. And I'm like, oh, you're right. But we were.
And then they have to respect us as well. They have to respect our hustle.
Absolutely.
And the contributions that we and the roads that we paved for them. That's one of the things that's missing. Because I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, I feel like our generation respected our parents' generation, right, in certain ways. And, we gave credit where credit is due, but this is where we're moving now. So I think that our generation feels like we don't get the respect for the work that we have done and the roads that we did pave in order for you to be where you are. I mean, I remember when I got the first email address. Like, I remember when the internet literally started. You know what I mean? So it's like our generation paved that way for you to have your YouTube channel, your Instagram page, your, whatever else. Yeah. So we need the respect, and we also need to respect them for how they're going to take our society forward.
And I like that.
And progressive.
I like that. And a great point. So let's talk about just kind of you. Let's get into you as a person a little bit. Now you're in this professional world. You've been in the industry for 20 plus years. Like, what are some of the things that keep you motivated and engaged to keep going?
What keeps me motivated? I don't know, it's hard. It's hard to say, because I've always just been, it's always been internal for me. I mean, and when I say that, I mean, my parents never had to make me focus. Like, it was just something that I did. And maybe it's because, we all have our story. My parents, were born in the 40s in Louisiana. They migrated to California for a better life, and they did. They had a better life for some time before I was born. I was born, and then that's when my parents started to have their financial troubles. And so if I'm really sort of digging deep, I would say that I guess that would be my motivation, is to live out my parents' potential, because my parents had great potential. I think about my father, and his talents and skills were, trampled upon by racism, by, all of the things that, alcoholism, all the things that just sort of overshadowed his potential. My mom and her creativity, once again, just racism and what they experienced as young children in Louisiana. And I guess I would say that's my motivation, is I want to live out their potential and take it to even greater heights.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing and being open and sharing your story. Definitely powerful and motivating. And so when you think about just, our young generation, you've met them, you've heard statistics, and you even talked about, I think, your nephew kind of in that space as well. There's so many out there just trying to find their way, trying to find their purpose, and really where they fit in life. So what advice kind of would you just tell them just on that process?
I would, I would tell them what I tell, my nephew, is that, when you're making decisions, whatever decision you make is the right decision. Don't be afraid of failure. It's not the end of the world. I've been through it. And came out on the other side of it. Just trust that you are capable. Trust that you are deserving of the successes, and just learn to trust what you're doing, because I think to be steadfast in your ideals for your life, and it's okay to want something different and to do it in a different way.
I love that. I love that. That's good stuff. Good stuff. So let me go back and ask you, as a personal growth and development coach and working with young people, I help them to gain some different strategies and tools that they can grow themselves. So what do you do just for your own personal growth and development? What does that look like for you?
So you said personal growth and development. You have to learn that taking care of yourself is important, and it's necessary to your ability to continue with any of your professional endeavors. I feel like even through our generation, there's this idea that it's oh, I didn't get any sleep this week. Like, that's supposed to be something positive. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, it's like, oh, you're work. And if the more you say, oh, I've been so busy and I've just been doing this, and this, and I didn't get any sleep. Oh, I forgot to eat yesterday. Oh, I did. That's not cool.
Not good.
That is not cool. Not good. So taking time to make time for yourself, whatever makes you just internally happy. For me, it's taking dance classes. It's getting in reading time, and not legal treatises, but reading, self-improvement books, fiction, whatever it is. Build that time in, because you have to feed yourself in order to be able to feed the world in whatever capacity you're trying to feed the world. So I say, and it's a balance, you can always do too much of one, right? So you have to have a healthy balance of your tending to your personal life as well as your professional life, and work it in. Put it on your, if you time block your calendar, put that personal time in there.
Yeah.
And I have to consciously tell myself to not push that on the, by the wayside, because it is easy to do. And I have done it, but I regroup and I'm like, you know what? Wait a minute. I haven't gone to my dance class in a week. No, next week I'm going back. I'm going, so.
Oh boy, you're making me feel guilty, Kim.
Listen, I'm guilty too.
You're making me feel guilty. 2 weeks.
I'm guilty too. And I learned that from my mentor that I'm working with in starting this law practice.
Yeah.
So, it's a program where, I learned how to run a law firm. And the first probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 modules wasn't even about the practice. It wasn't about business. It wasn't about practice. It was about changing your mindset about money and time. And that time is a finite resource. Money is infinite. You can always get money, right? You can't get your time.
Right.
You cannot get your time back.
Right.
So time is the most valuable resource. I know it's hard to accept living in a capitalist society, but it's the truth. Once again, this is cliche. When you leave this world, you're not going to think about, oh, I wish I would have made more money by going into the office every Saturday.
Yeah.
You're going to wish I had more time to spend with my children, my nieces, my nephews, my spouse, my boyfriend, my homegirls. Yeah. You're going to wish you had time to do that. That's and that's what's important. Yeah. But we have to continue to remind ourselves of that. And we have to continue to make a concerted effort to strike that balance. And so it's okay to do that.
Yeah, I love that. And that's something that, like you said, it requires intentionality to do that, because we're so prone to just be on the go and get applauded, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot of, even the major successful people, you always hear, you don't need to sleep when you die. And, you get these messages, but like, as you said, your health is your wealth. Right.
Yes.
So I love the fact that you just talked about that and shared information and put some guilt trip on me. So
I know I haven't seen you in dance class.
Don't tell. I'm going back. Monday,
you open the door.
Monday, I am there.
Okay. Me too, because I didn't go this week. I didn't go this week myself. That's what I said. I'm guilty of it too.
Yes.
So you and I gonna be there Monday.
Yeah, we will. Guarantee. Absolutely. Yeah. So you mentioned that you're reading some books you like to read. What are some of your favorite books that you will recommend our viewers?
Oh, so I'm actually reading Will Smith's book right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good read. It really is. Will Smith is kind of on the higher levels of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So, but it's good, and I really think it's a good read for young Black men to learn how to be vulnerable, because his book comes from a perspective of recognizing the fact that he wasn't being vulnerable, and that and the process he went through to become vulnerable in his just in his life in general. And it's just a good book. I mean, I learned about his upbringing and it's like I didn't realize how we know how successful he is, but I didn't realize how successful he was.
Wow.
Like that run that, that run that he had is amazing. I mean, it's still continuing,
Right.
I mean, he just won the SAG award for King Richard. So he's still on this run. But so it's just a really good book. And I haven't finished it yet. So
Awesome.
that's the only one I'm reading right now.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So what would you say, as we are coming down to our time, this has been a phenomenal conversation. I hope you guys are out there taking notes and just being inspired and really taking in everything that Kimberly is talking about just in life and just the life lessons that she has learned and she has shared. That is going to be seeds that it's planting in you when you come up against those things, and you can look back and listen to these words to help you in your process and help you move forward. It's just been phenomenal. So what advice would you give to, a young person out there that's kind of in their starting phase of their professional career?
I would say that, when you're starting out, definitely accept the fact that there is a level of earning that you do have to go through when you're beginning, right? Earning and learning is what I would say. Earning your stripes, getting in there and doing the hard work while at the same time learning the lessons, because you are learning from individuals who have been where you are, who have paved a certain way, right? And then when you learn those lessons can then be sort of like a springboard to where you can take things further. But you have to earn a level of, what's the word? I forgot which one it is, if it's pathos or ethos, where people trust you and trust what you're saying. You have to earn that. And really, there's really no getting around that. So just learn that. Also understand that mistakes will be made. They are not the death of you. What is the death of you is if you don't learn from them, or if you get stuck in those mistakes, or if you allow those mistakes to chip away at your confidence. Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of folks where you're probably working that are just faking it until they make it. That is the honest to God truth. And I'm not saying that that's what you should be doing, but a lot of that goes on. And so as long as you're doing those things in the beginning of your career, I think you'll be fine, and take it seriously. If that is something that you want to pursue, take what you're learning, take what you're earning seriously to get you to whatever next step is for you. I think that's it.
Awesome. Words of wisdom, because I know I have a lot of those are in the medical profession, a lot of nurses, a lot of people who are in the healthcare and some other professional industries out there that are part of our movement and a part of our community. And they come to me and they have these struggles, right? And they may be, we've had a couple on our Millennials Making Moves shows. We had a doctor and we had a scientist, and they expressed just the struggles of being a young professional. In many, both of those particular circumstances, they were women of color. So just that dynamic as well. Where they, they don't see many people that look like them, and then having those issues in the professional realm. So thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for being open. Thank you for representing and just giving us some golden nuggets that young people can really take and really just ingest, because you said a lot. So I was taking notes, and it was great. I hope you guys were out there taking notes, and you'll hear the replay replay, listen to it again, because you're going to need to learn and understand a lot of these things that Kimberly talked about on today. So before we kind of wrap it up, kind of just let us know about your business and, what it is that you do and why it's important. And then let us know how we can find you, or they can get in touch with you as well.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say that you were a great host, and your questions were fabulous and thought-provoking, and made me think about some things I hadn't thought about in a long time or at all. So thank you for that. Thank you for inviting me and entrusting me with this role of passing along some advice to your millennial audience. I hope they get some benefit from it. As you mentioned in the beginning, I am an estate planning attorney. My firm approaches estate planning from a holistic perspective. And the ultimate goal is to keep your family and your loved ones out of court and out of conflict if something were to happen to you or you become disabled. So I prepare plans. I don't prepare documents. I provide a relationship, a plan, and it's tailored to the needs of your particular family. You can reach me by going to my website at idrislaw.com. You can take a look at my events page. I actually have a live presentation coming up this Friday, the 18th, at the City of Decatur Rec Center. I'm on social media pretty much under my, I have a Facebook page, and my Facebook page is Idris Law. And you can find me on LinkedIn under Kimberly Cain. That's how I am on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram. My Instagram is Kimmy Idris, and that's KIMMIE_EDRIS on Instagram. So that's how you can find me.
Awesome. So you guys out there, make sure that you go check Kimberly out. And this is what she does is important. And as you are adulting and going in your own, you need to learn a lot of this information to help prepare for your journey in your life as well. So she has a seminar coming up, and we'll put that information in the chat, so you will get that. So you get that information as well. So again, Kimberly, thank you so much. This was an awesome conversation, and you just definitely took the conversation and took it to another level, letting people know what are some of the things and lessons that they can avoid. A lot of times when we have these conversations, like, you don't have to go through things that I've gone through, but as I share them, listen, take it in, right?
Exactly.
Don't do it, right?
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Absolutely. Yeah. So guys, this has been wonderful. And, we'll have these Ask the Experts sessions once a month. So tune in next month, where we'll have another expert to come in and talk about some other areas of adulting. But this is what we do at Adulting in My Purpose. We are here to help young people just like yourself discover their vision, discover who they are, clarify their vision, and develop a solid plan to take their next steps in life. So we'll be back next week with another amazing episode. Make sure you come back, share, tell a friend, let people know what we're doing here at Adulting in My Purpose. But until next week, you know what to do. You stay safe and be blessed. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.